What Up Doe is your go-to podcast featuring three high school buddies from the legendary Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High. We dive into the latest entertainment buzz and spill our unfiltered thoughts. We are all about good vibes, healing hearts, and having a blast. So make sure you follow the What Up Doe podcast so you can stay in the loop with our latest episodes. Thanks for watching.
I will always care for you. Hello, Detroit.
On episode 13 of the What Up Doe podcast, we speak with Carl DJ Invisible Hollier. He's been spinning records for more than 20 years. His style is fresh with a good balance between turntablist, a party rocker, and a mixer. He's performed with some of the world's greatest artists, including Xzibit, who is his cousin, Public Enemy, Eminem, Linkin Park, Papa Roach, and in front of audiences larger than 70,000 people. So this is a big deal. We're excited to have him on the What Up Doe podcast and give him a warm welcome. Before we forget, happy 313 Day.
Oh, we want to give shout out. We have our own Martin Luther King High School, Detroit. What up, Doe?
Yeah.
Happy 313 Day. But we want to give a real shout out to DJ Carl, the Invisible, Invisible Entertainment. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for being on here, Woo. Yeah, we want to, so just to kind of kick right into it, I know I kind of, like I say, when we were looking at lineups, I had thought about you and I said, man, I know Carl will have a lot of different stories to tell on just some of the stuff I've watched you do that you've been posting and just over the years. And I just wanted to start with, so I was reading some of the information that you had out there on yourself. And I did not know that when you left, you became a firefighter. But I want to know from that firefighting to going into DJing and all of that, Eastern Michigan, let's just hear about a lot of what I'll call the beginning for you when it came to DJing and all of that.
Word up. All right. Well, can you hear me okay? Because
Yeah.
Yeah, can hear you.
So right out of King, I went to Eastern and I hung out at Eastern in the East. Down there, I see you wearing your state this hat right there, which is okay.
Right.
I don't know if the viewers know, and because you guys have a viewership that's just outside of our Metro Detroit area and our
Right.
area, everybody out there, look at the camera. Eastern Michigan University is an Ivy League school based in Ypsilanti, Michigan. It is one of the most prestigious universities of higher education in the world. It is a renowned establishment where higher learning is taken to a whole nother level, and the
Right.
colors green and white are synonymous to excellence at Eastern Michigan University. And
That's all right.
yeah, it's still happening. So I went to Eastern for 4 years, and Eastern, from what I found out once I got there, was a breeding ground for.
Can you pull the mic a little closer to you, Carl? I just want to make sure I can hear you good.
There you go. Is that better?
Way
Yes,
better.
much
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way better.
Crank it up a little bit more. Yeah, Eastern. So I got to start all that over again. So
No.
because I made all of it up.
No.
all fabrications. No, so I went to Eastern and found out that Eastern was a breeding ground for DJs. So I started DJing. I bought my gear from my neighbor. Martin Stevens came home from Tennessee State University and sold me DJ gear. And he was like, "I'm gonna sell this to you because I'm not using it. I'm going to be a grown up. So a couple $100 and you go take this with you, and it's a good hustle." And I'm like, man, I can't dance. I can't count to 4 on beat. This is sure. Okay, cool. You try to get rid of it, I'll take it. I took those turntables to Eastern and put them on my dresser in my dorm room, and people would, I had a few records I kidnapped from my dad, and it was jazz records. I like Bob James and Joe Sample and a couple of hip hop records. I had a Public Enemy record, an Eric B. and Rakim record, and I'm goofing off playing records, the one crate of records that I had compiled. And people were like, "Hey, can you DJ our party in the lounge?" And I'm like, "I don't know if you want to hire me. I just started this like last week. So
right.
I started borrowing records and I started spinning, and it went from me doing a couple of lounge parties at Eastern before my freshman year to by the time the summer had ended and the first semester had started, I had enough records to do a party. And I did my little sister's high school party in like early September, an AAU party. Got booed off the stage. I was trash. I was horrible. People threw pizza at me. Like people threw. I got a Snickers bar thrown at me, and I'm like ducking like the Matrix. I was like, I gotta get
a Snickers bar.
Yeah, okay. I trust me. I remember it vividly. When somebody throws something at you and you're on stage, you never forget a slice of pizza, a Sprite can, a Snickers.
Was it open?
Yeah, this was stuff that I was that bad. Like, when you start a party and you DJing on stage,
was it open though, the Snickers bar? Was it open?
Yeah, I was hungry. I should have ate it. But when your job is to entertain people and you are failing at your job, you find out real quick. And I had started playing booty music it was popular then. Miami bass was popular. I had the song My Cadillac's Got That Bass. I had a Crate of Records, a CD player, and a tape deck. So I played through all my records and burnt everybody out on my records the first hour of the party. So going into the second hour, I got a party and I'm feeling good about myself, but I ran out of records. So I'm like, let me run through these CDs that I have collected. So I put on Shake What Your Mama Gave You on CD, and the song started skipping, and it was Shake What Your Mama, Shake What Your Mama, Shake What Your Mama, Shake What Your Mama, and everybody is like, oh, the DJ is killing it. I'm like, it's Shake What Your Mama, and then it gets to a point where Shake What Your Mama is burnt out, and people are like, oh wait, something ain't right. I hit the CD player, and it was like, Shake What Your Mama gave you, and I'm like, this is failing. So I went to my tape deck. So I switch over to the tape deck, and the tape, I had Cadillac's Got That Bass in it. So it's My Cadillac's Got That Bass. And everybody's like, okay, we with them again. The tape deck was sitting on top of the amp. The amp had heated up. The tape deck had heated up. When tapes heat up, they drag. So the tape going, My Cadillac's Got That Bass. So it was chopped and screwed before people knew what chopped and screwed was.
Right.
When that started dragging and people started figuring out that the DJ had failed them, that's when everything started to fly.
Right.
Wow.
All bad.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, we all got to start somewhere, though. It's all starting somewhere.
Trial by fire. I went back to Eastern. I practiced every day. I'd go to class, come back, practice. And that's when I found out there were so many DJs at Eastern, because all of the techno, like, Juan Atkins and all them cats used to hang out at Eastern in the late 80s. And they were, doing parties up there. So, that started like, oh, well, all them cats used to be up here. You got to be a good DJ if you're going to be at Eastern. So I started asking questions and getting help. And it turned into like me being legit. So by my sophomore year, but actually the end of my freshman year, like Chris Webber and Jalen Rose were coming to campus and asking me to DJ their parties. So they were, they were sophomore year at U of M, and they were killing it at this point in time. So I'm
right. Tell us about some of that. What was that party? What was some of those parties like, DJing?
So like Diddy parties? No, I'm just kidding.
We were still on campus, so I'll get to that in a second. These were still campus parties. So we're in U of M's union, and the union is packed. And this is like Eastern and Michigan had a relationship with parties. Like you would go to everybody's parties. So it got to a point where you didn't know who went to Eastern and who went to Michigan unless you were, swagged out in your hookup. And a whole lot of Eastern cats would wear U of M stuff to try and impress girls from Michigan, which was a whole nother funny story. But the parties were huge, like the parties at U of M's union back then, because you just needed a college ID to get in. You didn't have to be sponsored by somebody like it ended up to be. So those parties were off the hook.
They made it to a few of those back in the day. I think one or two of those union parties back in the day.
Union parties were crazy, especially when they would win a basketball game on a weekend and have a party. Stop it! It was people from the city coming up to their parties. It were just like they were rock stars. So like those parties were those
the
parties
school IDs was eliminated.
Yeah, like bro, this is when you could just have a school ID. Like, you look like a 50-year-old man, or you shouldn't be here. So now, but those parties were crazy. And then like those parties transitioned into me like getting, building my name. So, a year later, Charles Woodson is popular, and he's up for the Heisman, and his parties were epic on a whole nother level. Cause the first one, like one of his cousins from Flint threw the party, and we were on campus, and it outgrew the union after one party. So they were calling me, and it was like, hey, we need you to do, Charles about to have another party. Those parties ended up being all off campus because they were too big to be thrown. We were doing parties at UAW halls in anywhere around. Like we're in Willow Run throwing college parties where the entire U of M campus comes to Willow Run, Eastern, Ypsilanti. Everybody's showing up. And by the end of the football season, those parties were like, they're grown women coming up there trying to find a football player because it was like,
wow.
Right. When you're a young college kid and you're like, I got my stuff together, and you can't talk to the women at the party because they're all there. You play football? No, I'm just here. And they're like, yeah, we're not. So those parties, yeah, that's when the
wow. You got amazing. You got an amazing history. I see. I was looking at all your stuff Donnie sent me over where you been, the UK and East European, Africa, and Dominican Republic, and who you work with. It's been pretty amazing. But tell me, I want you to step over the name DJ Invisible. How did that come about?
Word up. So
I think I know the answer to this. Yeah. I think I read it somewhere, but let's see.
Yeah, so I got two answers that I tell. So since this is our King family show, we tell the real truth. So
give us all of it.
Right. Well, it's self-deprecation at its finest. So my junior year in high school, I was getting ready to get my letterman jacket. Right. I had lettered in basketball, and I was going to the NBA. And that was my, every high school kid is going to the NBA at that point. Jordan, man, like we're in the 90s, right?
Right.
So I'm like, I got my letterman jacket, and my mom is like, what are you going to put on the back of it? So I had designed it. I had the Jumpman logo on the back of it. I had a Public Enemy patch on the front of it. And we're there, and the guy's like, what name are you going to put on it? And at the time, we were reading the Ralph Ellison book, The Invisible Man, in English class. And I was like, I had the book with me while we were at, what's the place was on the east side, ain't there no more, but the place that made the letterman jackets. I had the book with me, and my mom was like, you should call yourself the Invisible Man because you never get to play. And everybody in the store falls out. And I'm like,
oh, man.
Like, wow.
Mom. My biggest fan, my mother, roasted me, and I was like, actually, that's pretty funny. So yeah. So shouts out to Coach Ward for not letting me play very much. That's fun. And
you never know your destiny.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. The part that I was saying I thought I heard. The part that I was saying I thought I heard about was just the piece of it being related to you actually reading something or doing something. So I thought you were some big fan of just the book or whatever, but now to get the real answer, that's why we do these podcasts.
That's the educated response, because when I'm traveling doing my cultural ambassador job with the State Department, and I'm sitting across from an ambassador at a state dinner, and they ask the question like, where did you get the name The Invisible Man? And I'm like, well, it came from when I was in high school reading the Ralph Ellison book, The Invisible Man, and about the struggle of a young man trying to make it in society while feeling as if he is ignored by society, thus in turn invisible, because the DJ had a party.
That's an MSAT answer.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Like thus in turn, the DJ,
MSAT answer,
as it correlates to the music industry, was invisible in the eyes of the industry, because in the 90s, the producer had become the focal point of hip hop in the 90s.
Right.
They're like, wow.
Nothing about the store and your mom.
nothing
Right.
about my mom being the best comedian I've ever known. Lighten me up.
Give your mom her flowers. You gotta give your mom
Oh no,
her
all day.
flowers.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's cool.
so
That's cool.
what's like, so you mentioned when we talked that this is kind of getting to the time of year where you start traveling. What is that schedule? So like, obviously I spoke, I know Helen is, she remembered Xzibit, but I know I've been following you with that in the shows. And I think it says since 2001, you've really been doing that. But like, what is a normal like year for you or period in which you're traveling doing that? What is all that about? Take us through something like that.
Yeah, so since 2001, so I right out of Eastern, I came back home and was doing nightclubs and parties, and I was 100% in the Detroit music scene. I DJ'd at Legends for a year. I was at St. Anne.
I think I remember that. I remember that.
I was couldn't tell me nothing.
Legends used to be the bomb. Legends.
Right.
Legends, yeah.
Now it's a gentleman's.
Wow.
Right, it's something, right.
It's a whole different world down there now. But
I seen Jeans and Moet last week. I was like, I used to be at Legends, did it? The River Rock, one of them.
Man, I did the River Rock before I ran the River. I was on a radio. I was on WDTJ back then with Billy T. Billy T brought me in. He found me in a nightclub and brought me in as his Saturday DJ. And I ended up, went to grade school with Reggie Red.
If you need to donate any of your old equipment, we can use some for our free podcast because we ain't got no good stuff.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
I tried to get Donnell over here and scheduling wise. Like I am 100% a computer nerd. I have turn the basement into mission control here. So
this is nice, and I can see me on the screen.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, I don't know. During the pandemic, I went next level with all my buttons and give myself a.
I like how you can move that around like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, can you show me how to use this? Because I don't know how to use it. I don't think it's working. It's still my podcast. That's what I'm saying. I don't really have all of I don't know how to do it, but we're doing what we can.
No, you gotta start somewhere. And the thing is once you start buying this nonsense and the Amazon man becomes your best friend and you know his name and you bring him coffee at 4:30 when he shows up, he's like, Frank. He's like, hey, how you doing? It turns out when it gets that bad, there's so much stuff, so much gear and equipment is coming to the house that Frank the Amazon guy, and you invite him in for a cup of coffee, you've gone too far. Yeah, so
that's too far, huh?
I've gotten to the point where I've got 3 or 4 cameras. I got an extra input here for it's so much fun. But so back to the story. Sorry, master of tangents.
Right.
So
we're gonna upgrade one day.
Oh no,
we're growing.
I got you. We're working together. But I came home from Eastern doing nightclubs and stuff, and ended up getting the opportunity to go on tour with Public Enemy. Yep. So I went on tour with Public Enemy for a summer with a rapper named Champtown, and we toured the U.S. up into Canada. Had the greatest time. But I got off a tour bus and almost broke my ankle, came home and didn't have insurance anymore because I was off my parents' insurance. My dad, dad was like, you need a real job. And I joined the fire department. So I joined the fire department in 99 after that tour. And I was a firefighter for 2 years. And I went into a fire with some of my coworkers, and a bunch of people got injured and retired. And I was one of the ones that the city retired after that fire. We went to a house and went to the 3rd floor, big flash over, broke my wrist, tore a bunch of ligaments in my wrist. And
wow.
Yeah, so my best option was retirement.
So wait, how long did you actually, so you became a firefighter? That sounds like that happened pretty fast. You became it, you went to a fire, you got hurt. Like,
I was an active firefighter for 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. All right.
Nah. So we had you trained for 6 months, and then you're a trial firefighter for a few months after that. And then I got my badge and fought fires for a little over a year, and that was my favorite job. Like I love DJing.
Which fire department?
Say it again.
Which fire department?
Oh, Detroit.
Okay, good. Okay.
Shouts out to Engine 40 on Dexter and Ewald Circle. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Engine 40. Woo woo.
Oh, that was the best. That was when people ask me like, what's your favorite job? Do you love what you do? I love DJing. I get a chance to travel the world and I make noise for a living. I don't have to get up early. I my kids, my wife, they're all teasing me because they get up and go to school and I'm like,
wow.
Leave me alone.
Do you ever do comedy shows? Like when comedy shows, they have comedy shows. Do you ever do things like that?
I've DJ'd a couple comedy shows. Yep.
No, I'm saying like DJ comedy shows.
I've DJ'd some of the comedy shows. Yeah, for sure. Well, heck, when we were coming up, Def Comedy Jam was on TV. So when I was at Eastern, I was trying to be Kid Capri.
Right.
I had to learn how to not like Kid Capri when I'm DJing a party. You know, when you're DJing a party, nobody wants to see you scratching records into, all that nonsense. But Kid Capri was a big influence on me because of that Def Comedy Jam time. So and it was funny thing is like I was on the Detroit Princess Riverboat, and in the summertime, like you were asking with the touring schedule, the winter time was usually the time for me to tour. So I'd usually set up, schedule anything possible to get out of town between January and April or May. And, this year I was supposed to be doing one of my State Department tours in January, February, March. But with the new election and the new government situation, touring opportunities were indefinitely put on hold. The world is going through some things with diplomacy.
Right, exactly.
That is the most politically correct answer.
Now say it how you want to say it.
It ain't right.
It ain't right. Yep, things ain't going. The train is not on the track that I wanted it to be on right now.
Right.
So my touring schedule kind of got screwed up, but now it's getting ready. Like the end of March, April, knowing that I started, changing directions and doing that new word of pivoting. So, so April is a whole lot of, corporate events. Going into May is prom time. It's starting the wedding season.
Right.
I got a whole lot of, bookings on the Detroit Princess boat. So for years, the past 10 years, I say the summertime, my residency, unless a big tour popped up, has been on the Detroit Princess Riverboat. And
oh, nice. We're gonna have to come on there and see.
So you'll be there. Yeah. So definitely. Yeah, we
Friday,
come on
Saturday,
there.
Sunday. It has been the biggest blessing of a gig because, as like I said, 10 years ago. So I'm 50 now, but at 40, being able to go to work and spend from 7 o'clock, or excuse me, boat boards at 6. So boards at 6, from 6 to 7, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. The boat is on the water. Boat gets back at 9 o'clock. Everybody is off the boat and gone, and I'm on the way home at 10 o'clock.
And right. That's what's up. That's early for you, right?
Oh my goodness! As opposed to, the boat used to have a moonlight cruise, and mind you, anybody out there that remembers the Detroit Princess moonlight cruise, it was off the boat. It was It was.
I remember that back in the day. That was But you know what I wanted to ask you about, DJ Invisible? I wanted to ask you about Paris Hilton, because as a woman, she kind of let me see DJing in another way, because even though she is an heiress, she was challenged. She was challenged. See, I gotta ruffle your feathers. I gotta represent the women DJ. Okay. So who is your favorite female DJ?
My favorite female DJ. So it used to be Spinderella.
I was about to say that's my first that I say. Yeah. And
I know there were two Spinderellas, but the Spinderella that was the last Spinderella that was touring with Salt and Pepper can cut.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's, and so that was the first female. Now I have a protege. People have been asking me for years, teach me how to DJ. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll see. You know, you got to really want to do it because, you know.
Do you have a course? Do you have like a course or anything?
I do. I have some YouTube courses that, you know, get your, you know, to like spur your interest.
Like paid courses.
Yeah. Yep. So
like,
that's what I do with the State Department.
Okay,
yep.
Good.
So with the State Department, I tour internationally.
We can get that information and share it too.
For sure. Yep. But I have a protege, and she asked me when she was like 9 years old, teaching me how to DJ, and I'm like, all right. And her mom bought her some turntables, and they came over. We set them up, and I taught her the basics of how to actually mix on vinyl turntables before computer stuff. And she stuck with it, and every, you know, so often she'd come over for tips or whatever. And now she is dope. She's graduated from high school, and she is out doing parties. Her name is Zoe. So her
I know Zoe. Yeah,
DJ D-Light. Yeah. So Zoe's mom.
This Darius is
you have to send her a picture of her.
Friend Will's sister. I met TP. He was training Darius and Will, because Will was a track guy.
Yep, Will's.
But yeah, we met during the COVID years when we couldn't do nothing. We linked up with them by ourselves outside, and he ran them all around the block. So yeah, and then that's when I met Zoe, and he told me what she was doing. Because last year, I know we didn't make it, but she was doing some regular things herself. I know she was down at the DeQuinder Cut.
Yep, every week.
And she was DJing. So yeah, that's cool. And you also with DJ Lowe, my boy Lowe, and went to Southgate acquaintance, with John Garvaya. He had played basketball, but DJ Lowe,
So when it tell you how much of a small world it is. When I was a firefighter, I was living in Redford at the time, and new homeowner. I had a big backyard. I put a full court basketball court in the backyard, and there was a guy cutting the grass. He had a lawn company. I asked him. I said, I got his card or whatever. Called him. He came by, cut the grass. We were playing basketball in the backyard, and I had this thing called the Professional Backyard Basketball Association. So we it was full court 3-on-3, and the losers had to grill and serve beer to the teams that were winning.
Right.
Lawrence came by, and Lo was like, I asked him if he hooped. He was like, yeah, I used to play a little bit. Lawrence came out there and whooped our asses.
He said he used to play a little bit.
Yeah, he came out and balled out. And I was like, what in the hustle happened in my own backyard? So I was like, bro, I was on the Detroit Fire Department Team 2. So Team 2, we would always get spanked by Fire 1. And Fire 1 there was a former Detroit Piston named Terry Durod. Durod played for the Pistons and then decided he was going to be a firefighter. And
did he? Okay, never knew.
Durod was a firefighter, and that dude, like, you look at him, he's maybe 6 feet tall, and he was older at the time when I was in the fire department. And Durod would come down the court and just pull up and shoot threes like Steph Curry before there was a Steph Curry. So he's pulling up from half, shooting it, and running back the other way, laughing at you. They're like, So NBA players really are better than the rest of us. So I invited Lawrence to come play on Fire 2. Lawrence came out there, and we were competitive because of him.
Right.
And he was like, I played with John Garveglia. And I was like, I know the name, but
It was sort of a small world situation for me, knowing him too, because he at Michigan State, John Garvaya, which he played with his soccer, and he was Mr. Basketball. He went to state and made the team, so I was around John at the time. And one time, John said, "Hey, we're going to do a workout, and my boy coming up here." So he came to East Lansing. We went to wrestling, and we did what this drill was like 1-on-1. So I had met Low then. Fast forward, my boy T, Juan, he ended up staying home once that next fall, didn't come back to state, went to OCC. He met Low. So I guess Low was at OCC too. And then later on in the years, he started telling me about Low, and then I run back on him. So yeah, it's weird how small the world be. Because I'm like, man, I met him already when he came up the state. So yeah, but that's cool, man. That's dope. And then like you say, so when it comes to like the entertainment, like you said, one of the things when we were talking, you mentioned that it's not just DJing for you, right? It's other things. Let's talk about some of those other things that Invisible Entertainment has been doing or has in store. You know, what's all that about?
Yeah. So, you know, once I started touring a whole lot more. So fire department was over for me in 2000. Like 2002-ish. I think I was still being retired, but when the fire department told me they were going to retire me, it was wild because the beginning of that week, I'm in a cast, I'm downtown. They're like, you know, we're going to retire you. You can't keep doing this. Your wrist is trash. And I was like, they were like, you should go back to school or get a hobby or something. And I'm bummed out. And then my cousin called me. Wow. The lady had no bedside manner at all. You know,
right, get a hobby.
Yeah, she's like, this is the end. You need
this end of it.
Yeah.
She didn't give you no hope.
None, because they were going to.
You saved your life, though. She said you'll never forget her.
Yeah, she was. Ugh. So anyway, my cousin called me and was like, "Hey, you got to come up to the studio," and I'm like, "All right, cool. I can't do nothing. I gotta, you know." I was still DJing parties with that cast on. I was like, I got fingers, I'm good. So my cousin, I walk into the studio and it was 54 Sound in Ferndale. And I walk in and my cousin greets me at the door and I walk in the lobby there or whatever. And they call me, you know, come on back to the studio where everybody's at. I walk in, Busta Rhymes is the first person I see. Redman sitting at the soundboard. Wow. D12, everybody hanging out. M gives me a high five. And this is like some weird, surreal MTV thing that's happening right here. Because it's like the who's who of hip hop right now is sitting in this one room.
Right.
And my cousin is Xzibit. And he walked up and was like, yo, so dabbed me up. And he was like, what are you doing this summer? And I'm like, well, nothing. The fire department just retired me.
Right.
And I got a cast on my wrist. Nothing is the answer. Trying to DJ some parties, I guess. So they're like, he was like, so you want to roll with me this summer? And I was like, doing what? He was like, you want to DJ for me on this tour? I'm like, I'm gonna have to think about it for a yes.
Right.
What kind of question is that? Hell yeah. So yeah. So I went back home, told my parents, I'm gonna need a little bit of help because I got an apartment that I'm not gonna be in for 3 months. Can y'all like wrap my stuff up and throw it in storage? Because I'm leaving in 2 days. So I went home, packed as much as I could, and was on the road. And I toured that was the anger management tour. So it was Eminem was a headliner, Ludacris, Papa Roach, and Xzibit were on that tour that summer. And we had a show like every other day. We played all big major cities. I mean, I went from doing nightclub. The River Rock Legends of St. Andrews were the biggest things I had done up to that point. And I think St. Andrews might have 1,200 person capacity on that main floor. So I went from that, and it was me. And at that time, I didn't use a microphone. I was dang near Terminator X. I'm just on stage, happy to be there, spinning and mixing.
Right.
I went from that to our first rehearsal was at Penn State University. They took the whole set and we went to Penn State and they set everything up and they were like, all right, do the show. I had been in LA for 2 weeks rehearsing, but that's in a rehearsal space, right? So they turn all the lights on and this is 16,000 person sized venue. And this is where we're doing our rehearsals. And I killed it. I was amazing. Like I'm all my spot on. I'm like, got it, no problem, cool. Because there's nobody there. This is just like doing the rehearsal space. The first show, I was all the lights came on. I saw it. Mind you, we had gone from 16,000 people at a college stadium to 20-some thousand people at an arena. I don't even remember where we were at. We were East Coast somewhere. We had a set list, and I got set lists all over here, but the set list is written out. And our production manager wrote it out and hand wrote it. And I couldn't see it.
That was back in the day.
Yeah, all the lights, and you looking at this piece of paper, and I couldn't read it from. I'm like, shit. So I'm picking the paper up, trying to get the next song together. By the next show, I had went to Kinko's and I had the set list printed out on like 9 million font. It was damn near poster board, taped all over the DJ booth. I was like, yeah.
You ain't missing it this next time.
This is the greatest opportunity ever. Like it was like mind blowing. The
Anger Management Tour.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the first. Wow, that was in the heat of Eminem. Just fire. Like,
he had blown up. Like
Yeah.
when we would pull those, like that was big tour bus time. That was a flawlessly run tour. Shouts out to Curtis Battles, best production manager ever. But those tours would come into town, and it's like 15 tour buses coming into cities, and everybody knew you were there because it was broadcast on MTV. The Anger Management Tour will be in Minneapolis this week. We would go to the mall, and we were going into high-end malls. You got a tour bus pulling up to the mall. You got 20, 30 black dudes wandering around the mall looking like rap music. You're a walking music video. Everybody walking through, because I'll pivot this to the Donnell Warren caused this addiction shortly, but we're walking into the mall with pockets full of money, wearing oversized basketball jerseys, basketball shorts on to our ankles because the Fab Five had transformed athletic attire.
They took it to a whole nother
level. We're damn near walking around in basketball jerseys that look like dresses. Basketball shorts that look like dresses.
I remember that.
Because it was next level.
T-Day.
Yeah, because you wearing them as fashion. You ain't trying to hoop in them because your basketball shorts look like pants.
Right.
Right.
I would walk into Foot Locker or Champs, and you would see Jordans on the wall.
Right.
You walk in and you got a budget now, and I'm like, give me everything in a size 13, and they look at you like, I don't need to try them on. You got a 13 and a Jordan? Thank you is the answer. Let's go.
Let's go.
Right.
To the point where, like, there's a Detroit icon named Proof. Proof was the homie from back in the day. And Proof was like teaching me how to tour. One of the bad habits that Proof taught me how to do was to shop. I would, Carl, just buy them. We gotta go. And I'm like, we gotta go. We don't have anywhere to be right now. And it was just so dope. Like,
I'm sure it would sound like it too, man.
So the pair of Jordans right there, the retro 6s.
Shout out to Kinko.
Yep.
Yeah, this dude, which side is so? Whichever side you're on the screen right now.
Yeah, right.
In the lunchroom during basketball season, Donnell would walk into the lunchroom as a freaking fashion model. Like, what Jordan thing is out now?
Sure did. I remember that, Carl. I remember that.
Hey, all I had, that's all I figured I had a clean t-shirt and some clean Jordans. I ain't need nothing else. My jeans may be like 2 years old, but I had clean shoes and somebody actually really told me that. As long as just have a clean shirt and some clean shoes and the girls will like you. I remember somebody saying that was like 8th grade or something.
Genius. That dude is whoever told you that. Genius. That's like the uncle. That's something the uncle would tell you. Like and
I kept that mindset. I kept that mindset through high school. Like, I was on a clean t-shirt and some clean shoes.
Nah, but so Donnell's being humble right now because it wasn't just a clean t-shirt.
You came out in 92.
Yep. I came out in 92, and in the year.
Yeah, do you remember Delisha Parker?
Mm-hmm.
That's my cousin. That's my cousin, Delisha.
Small world.
So you all don't remember each other.
I don't know a lot of 92.
I wish Rob could have made it here because you might remember Rob. He was inside. He couldn't remember you though.
Yeah,
but he was inside.
I was also in the nerd crew. Like I was still trying to find my people. It was funny because when you're at we had one of our class reunions and somebody was like, "Carl, you went to Eastern? I mean, you went to King?" Yes. Why do you think I am at our class reunion because I went to King.
Because you went there. That's why you're there.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I thought it was a much smaller.
Somebody
yeah, I just gonna crash.
You remember the dancery?
Right.
Did you used to go to the dancery?
The dancery was on the other side of the football field.
Right.
No,
I was so
no,
happy.
but some
like,
people still didn't go. Their parents didn't let them. So
oh, I didn't
I
get to,
think I went there once or twice.
I
was
didn't get
with
to go
Jeff.
until I was out of King.
Yeah.
I never made
Jeff was in there. I just remember the experience of watching Jeff jit.
There we go.
Jeff was jitting. Jeff was
Back
jitting.
then.
I remember
he?
jitting. Jitting used to
All
be
6'10" of
man.
him.
I ain't know
Yep.
that.
And it would you could
Oh my
not
God,
miss
I don't remember.
the
I remember
6'10" jit.
slightly, but
Jeff had no
Wow.
like that didn't bother him.
There
at
was no
all.
filter. I saw Jeff
Right.
not too long ago. Jeff will walk up to me at a party,
right.
or I'll see him out and be like, Carl!
Right.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff always gonna be the loudest one.
He ain't
that's
the
cool.
tallest and the loudest. I tell you, he gonna be on the show, Carl. He gonna be on the 26th. He gonna be on
The 26th.
Yeah,
he's
so we're
be
gonna be
on.
talking about relationships. You know that's gonna be.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Nah, it's no matter how
So
you are
that'll be
feeling in
fun.
your day. If you run into Jeff out in the city, however you are feeling, as soon as you see Jeff, you instantly get happy. It's whole mood change. It's like,
Don't you?
yeah, it's just like a magical being.
Love
Just
Jeff.
floats around
Right.
Earth, just making people's day better.
Yeah, some guy.
Yeah,
Some
he
guy.
so do.
I've been
He'll love to hear
kicking
that.
it with Jeff
too.
for so
That's what's
long.
up. That's what,
Right.
And it's definitely
Yeah,
been closer since our, good friend Herb passed and stuff. So, since them years, it's just been like really, really a lot more communication between us.
Yeah. That was another magical being that was just.
yeah. That's
Right.
what's up. We trying to.
I wandered into boba tea, and my daughter was like, "Dad, I need boba tea." And my daughters were at Shrine in Royal Oak, so we were living in the city. I'm driving back and forth up and down Woodward all the time, and they were like, "Dad, we want boba tea." I was like, "I have no idea what boba tea is, but let me get these dad points up." So
Right.
we're over at the boba tea
Yeah,
at
that's
Island
right.
Woodward.
I think got it too.
Yeah, I got to get them dad points. So
It's
I
good,
go
though.
in, and somebody was like, "Carl," I turn around, it was Herb. Herb was having instead of having a coffee meeting, he was having a boba tea meeting.
Boba tea, okay.
That sounds like her.
It's cool to hear this story.
Yeah, Herb was chilling, having a boba tea with a client of his. I'm like, wow.
sounds
I
just
don't
like
want to
her.
interrupt, but I wanted to ask, like, how the hell did you know about boba tea and what is this stuff? Why is it so expensive? Why are we buying expensive balls in little jelly balls in a cup and paying $9?
And Herb would have probably given a real detailed broken down answer to that too.
Yeah,
That's why
I can see that.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Herb. That was my boy, man. All day. And Carl, when I first had my first car, which was a 1989 Dodge Shadow.
Oh.
Good old
And
89 Shadow.
My Kenwood snatch out. My 6x9.
Walking through Northland with your radio.
Yeah. Yeah, Donnell and Jeff, they used to be with me all the time, man. It was just me and these two tall guys. That's what everybody used to be saying. They'd be like, "Who's the two tall guys that you used to be with all the time?" I'd be like, Donnell and Jeff.
Yeah. Security, your security.
Be out
Yeah.
and she had to ride.
In that little bitty car, though.
Oh, no.
That was crazy. That was the
Hey,
days.
we all had the little cars though. As I had the Chevette, Herb had the K car with the belt that he put a belt. The front of the fender around the light fell, so I don't know what made him take a belt and pull it up. It's like, Herb, what do you? It kind of looks. You put more of a dagger on it.
MacGyver.
What was your first car? What was your first car,
My
Carl?
first car was a Toyota, like a 78 Toyota Corolla that my aunt had given me.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't last long. So
That's
I got
what's
it
up.
in I want to say she gave me that car in my junior year, and I was driving to one of those Saturday practices in the winter and wrapped it around a telephone pole right at geez, where was I at? I was coming down Lafayette from 75 and got bumped in the back on some ice, and Cadillac bumped me in the back and then sent me into an awesome spin, and that car saved my life because it was a very well-made automobile. It went around the telephone pole, and I didn't have a cell phone at the time, And the lady that hit me called my parents and told me that I had gotten into a car accident and where I was at. And my dad called Coach Ward to tell him that I had been in a car accident, which I was like, call Coach Ward. I never gonna get to play. Nobody's gonna believe me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm late because I got into a car accident. And he was like, you're going to the hospital. You're not going to practice.
Right. Exactly. If anything, this is a great excuse to not be
right. I'm looking at my priorities were all screwed up. I'm like, I'm gonna make it to the league if I don't go to practice. I get to practice, Dad. He's like, you're gonna go to the ER is what you're gonna do.
Right.
Being bad. Clearly you have a concussion.
Wow. I'm watching that Kobe Bryant on Max. I was thinking about y'all, Donnie, back in the day, and they was talking about how he always used to talk about he wanted to go in the NBA. So now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, it didn't work out for you, but he used to say that sometimes you can talk it into existence. So
yeah,
right. Sometimes,
but not in your case, huh?
No, so I was
right, exactly.
So my one of my daughters married a basketball player who plays in the NBA. So yeah. So in talking to him, sometimes you have conversations in life with people that you can't relate to. And he and I were talking about we were at a football game, and I'm like, so what's your football team? And he was like, well, coming up, I really didn't follow football that much. I was following basketball. I wanted to be, Kobe and Shaq were my favorite players. I wanted to be like Kobe, and I wanted to go to the NBA and, be like Kobe. And I'm like, well, I can't relate. I too wanted to be like Jordan, and it didn't happen for me. Yes, dude, tell me more of your journey, son. What did you do that I didn't do, other than the fact that you're 6'9" and you're way more athletic?
Right.
Yeah. So,
that was hilarious. So you want to give any shout outs to anybody? I know we're going to leave all your social media. You're going to send that to Donnie, and we're going to put all of that in the video. But you want to give any shout outs or tell what's going on next, what you got next going on?
Before you do that, we got to get the Mount Rushmore of DJs from you. What is your Mount Rushmore of DJs?
Oh, my goodness. Well, this is really easy. So DJ Jazzy Jeff, to me, is my favorite DJ. So shouts out to Jazzy. Shouts out to Jeff. He is, he is one of the old school DJs that is still relevant today. He can still show up and rock a party. Yeah, dude can still show up and rock a party. DJ Kool Herc was like the originator of what we know as DJing, so he's got to be up there. Kid Capri was like, he was that guy that I watched all of those def comedy jams. And DJ Cash Money had the song "All the Ugly People Be Quiet" that was hot when we were in school. Yeah, so Cash Money, the Marvelous, but DJ Cash Money was one of the battle DJs. So he would, do all of the scratch routines and whatnot. And I say, and then after that, locally on my Mount Rushmore, I throw in Wax Tax and Dre. So Wax Tax and Dre, we would listen to doing those parties. He was on the radio back when we were in high school. And his DJ style was a good mix of, he could cut and then he could mix, and he would mix all kinds of crazy stuff together live at a party. DJ Fingers and DJ Zap would be up there too. So there's the international DJs, but then there's the DJs that I watched when I was, in high school, and the guys would just blow my mind. When you listen to a DJ on the radio and that DJ sparks your interest and you can't even see what he's doing, that's amazing. Our local radio DJ, and most of those guys still travel. They travel internationally doing their thing too. But Detroit is just an amazing place for DJs. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's real.
I could go on. My Mount Rushmore is more like the Rocky Mountains.
The honorable mentions. You got to have some honorable mentions in there. I know.
Yeah, I have to make a long list. It's ridiculous. There's so many dope DJs in Detroit in every genre of music. So
yeah.
It would be huge.
What's up?
What's up with the shout outs? What shout outs do you have for us?
So my shout out list for my King family would be our class of '92 board of directors for all of our reunions, which I torture. I'm on the board for our class reunion stuff, and I'm like the board member.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all need to fire me, relieve me from my duties, because the past I helped plan our 30th reunion, and then went on tour with Snoop. It was like, hey guys, so I'm gonna miss this, all of it. I'm not gonna be around for any of it. Like, it's horrible. Like, I helped plan until the bills had to be paid, and I'm like, I got it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna zoom into the class reunion if anybody would be cool enough to hold their phone up so I can see what's going on. But, yeah, Janice Mitchell.
Snoop, I would have missed too.
I went on a diet. So I went on a diet when I came home from touring with, I started touring with D12, and we toured with Snoop and Ice Cube back to back. And then we went on our own solo tour. I had to go on a diet because I had hit 300 pounds of just eating like a rock star. Snoop took such good care of us. Ice Cube took such good care of us. We were going to breakfast on tour. Nobody gets up for breakfast, but when Snoop has a celebrity chef cooking,
well, you smoking weed, like, you gotta eat, bro.
It was just eating. It was like,
right.
Just eating right, eating everything right. It was like, right. When you walk into catering and they're like, we've got vegan options, we've got vegetarian options, we've got ogalactive, if you don't eat beef, if whatever you want to eat, and you start eating at every section, like, ooh, let me check out this vegan section right here. I'm not a vegan. I'm grazing through the vegan section.
Right.
We got Wagyu beef, and I'm like,
you vegan, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna eat all this. This is delicious. When you look forward to the salad bar, So I had to go on a diet after that nonsense, but it was overdoing it at its finest. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have all your social media stuff in here too, like I said. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is
it was great having you though.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I talked too much because you had asked me a question, and I don't know how I made a left turn and started talking about a buffet, but on tour I would look at
cool we were just talking about your shout out.
Yeah. I started my invisible entertainment company after being on tour and seeing all of the cool sound systems and lighting stuff. So I came home and started my own company, which is Invisible Entertainment. So
nice.
Yeah, I've been doing corporate sound and lighting events for some years.
I love the sign in the back.
Oh yeah. Buy anything on Amazon nowadays.
Well, we're looking, wherever, with us and what this is going and where we're growing with this and stuff and where we're going, that's our goal, is to do an event. So don't be surprised if I'm reaching out for some advice and some this, or to have you involved in it in some kind of way. That's our goal. So, I'll definitely be probably leaning on you for information on that.
I don't know. Whenever you are ready to have an event, I have got all the toys to put on corporate sound and lighting. I have a 14 by 8 foot jumbotron that I rent out for events. And, so last year I rented this thing out, and it was for somebody just to play video games on.
That's it.
Really?
A giant screen, 14 feet wide by 8 feet tall. You're playing Mario Kart, and things are in life size.
No, I don't know. I might be hitting you up for something like that. That sounds like a cool idea with my son.
Yeah, so my daughters, they ask me all the time to, put the toys up. My daughter is hosting the St. Patrick's Day? St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, I need you to decorate. I'm like, I got you. All that look like the Emerald Sea on Friday.
Right. Yeah. That's what's up.
Oh yeah. So when it's time to have that King event, it'll be all black and yellow.
Right.
Get our black and gold.
I want to definitely go to the to your events this summer at the the Princess, on the Princess.
The Detroit Princess is renovating right now.
In that for sure.
Yeah, whenever you are ready.
Battle Creek now.
Yep. Fridays and Saturdays, come on down.
Fridays and Saturdays starting June.
I'll be there most Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, okay.
Mother's Day is the beginning of it's kind of the beginning of their, where it starts cranking up. And by that time it's warm outside. And, even if you have been downtown or you've been on a boat, been on the river or whatever, being on the Princess boat is a great way to see the city. You're down there, you're on the water. It's beautiful. It's quiet, and they've renovated the boat, and then they've revamped the whole atmosphere. So it's like a family reunion every time you get on the boat. You're on a boat, you don't know everybody at the beginning, but you're like, hey, see you next time.
Boat. We're gonna go.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I got you. Please come.
I was just telling my wife.
Tell her I said, please don't remind you for him. Come down and hang out.
Right. Yeah. He will.
You got me feeling bad because
will.
You're being the.
Well, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been great having you. And
that's all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it usually takes me I tell you to allow 6 weeks for the edit, but it won't be that long. I'll probably do it next week. But to say that to give myself time.
Oh, for sure.
Because I do this on my own free time.
Yeah. No,
so we'll have it and send you the YouTube links. You can share it and all of that.
And I will send you any YouTube clips. Like I said, I have a video. This video here is on YouTube, so I can send you that. And that was
send me that. Yeah, because then I can put it behind my intro and stuff.
Yeah,
man, those crowds look crazy. They be crazy looking at that crowd like a sea of people.
I look at those videos every now and then when I'm bored and I'm like, oh, I got hired and fired for a gig yesterday. Guy called me at 10 o'clock in the morning, hired me to do this corporate event. I took my mom to her treatment at Henry Ford. By the time I got in the car, he sent me a message saying, unfortunately, we won't be able to use your services. We've gone a different route. And the problem with being an entertainment company and a private, entrepreneurs in this business, sometimes you get hired and fired within a matter of hours. And after that, I had to remind myself, Carl, you have done some really cool stuff. So it's not me, it's them. I look at that video and I'm like, I'm fucking amazing. You want to hire me?
Exactly.
Who's my number?
It could have been a blessing in disguise. You never know what you might have been walking into, too. Right. So you got to think of it that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff come and go for a reason.
Exactly. Right. When you start quoting rap lyrics, no money, no problems. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always. I appreciate you taking the time out to come on, man.
Oh, man, nothing feels better than being appreciated by your own. And this, being a proud King graduate, nothing feels better than when, being asked to be on something where I get to big up stuff that I've done. And it's because I went to King that all of these cards fell into place. Had I not gone to King, I wouldn't have gone to Eastern. Had I not gone to Eastern, I wouldn't have had, this opportunity to have turntables and travel the world and do what I love to do.
KC fired up.
KC fired up. Let's go.
KC fired up. You know it.
What up, though?
What up, though? Yeah.
What up, though? 313. Happy 313 day.
All right. Yes, indeed.
Happy 313
this hat right here to everybody that travels internationally. Let me give you this gem. If you travel internationally, wear a Detroit Tigers D. If you wear this Detroit Tigers D, you can walk through any neighborhood in the world. And out west, I walked through Crip neighborhoods and people were looking at me sideways. I'd walk through a blood neighborhood, accidentally gone in the wrong area. And somebody look at me and they're sideways. All you got to do is tell them you are from Detroit. No matter where in the world you are, people will leave you alone.
Really?
The week after Dame Dash got robbed in Paris, I was walking through the hood, made a wrong turn. I'm walking through the hood. A group of dudes walks up on me, and the group of, tough guys or whatever, they walked up on me, asked me where I was at and where I was from. And I was like, oh, I'm from Detroit. Can you point me in the direction? Okay, you know. Like, Detroit, man, you got a Detroit hat on. You tell them you from the D. You know,
it's all good. Hey, I'm gonna keep that note.
I'm going to Thailand. I'm going to Thailand in October, so I'm gonna have to find me a little sun visor or something with the D on it.
Thailand, you good. So offline, I'll give you the spot to go. Thailand is one of the best places to eat your way through the city.
I'm gonna stop it now. Hold on, because I don't want people to know where I'm.
What Up Doe is your go-to podcast featuring 3 high school buddies from the legendary Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High. We dive into the latest entertainment buzz and spill our unfiltered thoughts. We are all about good vibes, healing hearts, and having a blast. So make sure you follow the What Up Doe podcast so you can stay in the loop with our latest episodes. Thanks for watching.
I will